Welcome to my new series, Backlog Breaker. Throughout my years as a game collector, I've built a decent sized collection, but I haven't beaten most of my games. I plan on playing through most of my collection, and this series is a perfect excuse to do so, while also getting to talk about the story, visuals, and what I liked and disliked about each game. At the end of each video, I'm going to be giving each game a rating, a general score, and a score specific to the console that the game is on, to kind of grade on a curve for games stuck on older, weaker, or compromised hardware. I've really been wanting to get more into the Zelda franchise, but I have what I like to call the Zelda curse. Every time I start playing a Legend of Zelda game, something happens in my life and I get busy and I just never pick it back up. But everything I've seen from these games I've adored, and I decided that I finally need to get through them. So you'll be seeing me gush over these games multiple times over the series. First up, we're going to be looking at The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. I'm playing the original Game Boy version because it's what I have, and I never see anyone talking about this one over DX or the Switch version. I'm going to be using a guide when I need to because I'm a stupid I mostly played this game on a modded Game Boy Advance, but I did play for like an hour or so on an original unmodded Game Boy to get a sense of how it was like for a person playing it when it was released. I'm just going to give a spoiler-free rundown of the beginning of the story. If you guys prefer to hear the full story with spoilers, please let me know and I can make the adjustment. Link's Awakening takes place right after A Link to the Past. Link, having fulfilled the prophecy of the legendary hero by defeating Ganon, noticed people were still restless and still fearing that evil may rise again. Link journeyed away from Hyrule in a quest to obtain enlightenment, in order to be able to better protect Hyrule from the next threat that may arrive. After months of traveling and a successful journey, there was a storm on the seas leading to Link's ship being destroyed and him washing ashore on a strange island. A girl would find Link unconscious on the beach and bring him back to her home. Link sets out in search of his gear when an owl comes to him and gives him a riddle. Awaken the windfish and all will be answered. He also sends Link on a quest to find a key in a dungeon, leading Link to find a full moon cello. The owl goes on to explain that Link must find 7 more instruments in order to awaken the windfish. He goes on exploring dungeons, trading with people, and killing bosses in order to find the instruments, wake the windfish, and go back home. In the visual and sound department, I cannot be too harsh on this. It's a Game Boy game, but it still looks pretty damn good for a Game Boy game. There's a lot of motion effects that occur during boss fights, and it does give a little bit of motion blur on the original Game Boy, but it was like really good on the modded Game Boy Advance. I was really surprised by the way Link's Awakening looked. It was just pretty damn good looking. The soundtrack was pretty damn good too, as you're hearing it in the background. Now I'm just going to go over what I really liked and disliked about the game. First up, what I liked. This game is phenomenal. It feels like it validates the Game Boy, not as something just to do in the car, but as a system capable of providing legitimate experiences similar to a home console. Maybe compromised, but still giving you an adventure. The dungeons are fantastic, cryptic, challenging, but not ridiculous. They feel super rewarding to explore. There's so much to do when exploring this game, with plenty of quirky characters, and this game is just surprisingly deep for a Game Boy game. This game also added a ton of items that are really fun to use, and are newcomers to the series. Shifting over to my dislikes, while I like that the game has tons of items, you constantly have to pause, switch items, and unpause to switch to a different item. It can just be a little annoying to me. Sometimes the game could also just be a little bit too cryptic for me. There are some hints, so usually if you take your time you can figure it out, but there were some cases where it's just like an unmarked wall and you have to know to bomb it. I could be acting like a bitch because this is my first time playing this game, and I'm used to having like my hand held a little bit, but they did add way more hints in the DX version, so obviously this was a common issue. Also, I really hate the genie. Every other issue I had with the game I feel like was just a product of it being a Game Boy game, like only having 2 buttons and a D-pad to use. Let's move over to the ratings. I'm giving this a 7 out of 10 on the general score, because I feel like with how games are now, you can't really compare it. But I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 on the Game Boy, because I feel like this is the perfect Game Boy game. It might just be the best Game Boy game of all time. Let me know if you guys agree with my ratings, and I really want to thank you guys for 50 subs. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And let me know what you thought of the video in the comments. Let me know how I could improve. Thank you for watching and have a good day.